game on Sunday, man. I know you're nervous for the Rams, but you got to be a little enthusiastic after being there.
Bro, that game atmosphere was ridiculous. The energy, the electricity. That place was rocking. Anyone was there, and a lot of the Super Buc fans were there too.
Tampa Tones. We are joined by lead goon tonight, host of the Pat and Aaron Show of WDAE, Pat Donovan. And it sounds like Stunna is bumbling a little bit. Going to put him on mute for a second until that gets a little clear. But we're joined by Pat Donovan.
It looks like Stunna's hanging out with Cheech and Chong in a car with the windows up or something over there.
It does look like we got a little...
No, my camera's broke.
Welcome in, everybody. Howdy, hey, howdy, ho. How the hell are you? Buccateers is live with a couple of great guests on hand, and we're not going to waste any time. Obviously, my man Gene from Buc What Ya Heard is accompanying me as well, along with the great JC Allen from Sports Illustrated and Bucs Game Day. But we got a very, very special guest on store tonight in the house. One of the newest members of our Tampa Bay Buccaneers, one of the newest members in the 813. We got former Appalachian State football man, former Richmond football man, was a wrestler, track and field, so much more. But we got our guy Tyreek Funderburk in the house tonight, here to chat with us for a little bit on the Buccateers. Tyreek, how the hell are you? And thanks for joining us. We do appreciate it, my man.
Yeah, appreciate y'all having me, man. I'm doing well. Just loving Tampa so far. Been here like 4 weeks now, so it's been amazing, man.
Acclimate into the 813, always a beautiful thing, as our guy JC Allen knows that as well. And JC, I know you're ready to rip here. I know Tyreek is a great guy of interest for this defense. I know he's going to be making some plays back there.
Yeah, so obviously, welcome to the podcast. Thanks for coming on. How you settling with the heat, with the weather? Has that been an adjustment?
It's been a little crazy. When I first got here for minicamp, I was kind of shocked about it. I mean, I knew it was going to be hot. Obviously, I knew I had to hydrate, eat, and all that stuff, take care of my body. But it's been fine, man. Ever since I got down here after rookie minicamp, I was good. I was adjusted. I know how to navigate it now.
You think so? We're not even in the summer months yet. Wait till training camp hits, bro. That gets crazy.
That's what everybody's telling me.
How is it compared to Boone? I know, as JC said, got to wait till training camp at Appalachian State up there in North Carolina. How is the heat comparison between the two so far?
I mean, it's kind of hard to compare. Almost night and day. I mean, Boone they might get 75 for the high in the summertime.
Yeah.
I think the hottest day last year when I was here may have been like 78, man. So it's lovely. Mm-hmm. But I mean, here, y'all know how it is. It's hot, it's humid sometimes, and I know we're not in the summer months yet, so it hasn't been too crazy yet. But it's hot down here. But
I gotta say, I love Appalachian State's. Your football field, the background is absolutely incredibly beautiful. And you got a couple like really famous guys that I like. Eric Church, Luke Combs come from there. So those guys, I know they're always up there supporting the team. But speaking of supporting the team, just kind of how has it been since rookie minicamp? Since you've your first couple weeks here, headed into phase 3 OTAs, what's it been like?
Yeah, it's been good. It's been a good adjustment. One thing about me is I adapt very easily. Just been under the wings of some of those vets, Zion McCullum, Jamel Dean, and obviously under my coaches. And some of the other guys in the secondary, just learning their habits, trying to see what works for them, because they are great players, the Winfields, the Whiteheads. They're great players, man. So I'm trying to kind of see what they do, how they do it, and try to incorporate my own routine and everything. But other than that, man, it's been really good. It's been a great adjustment.
Yeah, head coach Todd Bowles has done some great things defensively, especially with some UDFAs. We've seen Christian Izzian adapt very well last year, make a couple of splash plays early. I'm sure you will be right up there as well. How is it get into play for a guy, or get into practice under a guy like Coach Bowles to this point? He's a lovable guy. He's a fun guy, and I'm sure he has some other sides to him as well.
Yeah, it's been good, man. He's a smart guy. Just trying to, get one-on-one with him and pick his brain about ball and how I can put myself in the best position possible, how to play with leverage, how to understand where my help is, that type of stuff. It's been very insightful, man. Him, Coach Ross, and then Coach Rashad, those are the kind of the three guys I go around just to try to get some knowledge, man, each day. But it's been good. Defense is amazing.
So for you, coming into the NFL, How easy has it been learning the playbook? And I know it's pretty much vanilla right now, but learning and understanding the playbook and making it make sense for you. I've seen some of your highlights, and you have an eye for the ball. You have a good football IQ. I don't know. Is Terry Fun? Is that your YouTube account?
I don't think that's my YouTube.
Okay.
There's one out there.
It's a different one then. Okay. But I've seen some of your clips, and it's just like watching you play, and you seem to have a nose for the ball, and you're a burner, your speed, and being able to tackle, and just how are you feeling like that's going to translate from college into the pros?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing I've learned so far in my 3 weeks here is it's a neck up league. It's something that I've learned and I've been told prior to coming here, but being in this atmosphere, it's like, man, everybody's got the ability, the physical ability. They're fast, big, and strong. So it's just about, hey, can you know your playbook? Can you master it? And like I said a second ago, understanding, where your help's going to be, how to play certain technique, where your leverage is, like all those little things. It's huge, man, into your success. So far, it's been pretty easy, adapting to the playbook. I mean, it's similar to some things I ran in college, but for the most part, it's been a good adjustment, man. Like I said, I got the coaches and the players kind of on me to learn it, and obviously I reach out for them, or to them rather, whenever I need some help.
Speaking of that, I had Zion on the podcast last night, and I asked him specifically about you because, you're some of the other guys that they brought in, undrafted guys, McDonald, Chris, and Marcus. They're kind of more of those tweeners, nickel back, safety type role, but you're more that outside cornerback. So I asked him, as far as what advice he gave you, and he kind of said, he's like me. He's got all the speed in the world. The thing is for him is getting the game slowed down to where he's not relying on that speed, whether using and just using it as an addition, another weapon to his arsenal. So just kind of talk about what Zion's been, because he's gone through it. He's been that young guy who kind of had to wait in the wings, and then now he's got his opportunity. What has it been like to have him? Because we know it's vanilla now, like Gene said, but where Todd's defense is coming once you guys get into it. It's complex and crazy. So what's it been like? What has he kind of given you for advice and kind of taking you under his wing?
Yeah, that right there is one of the main things. It's funny you say that because we talked about it yesterday. He's like, look, the more you grasp his playbook and you understand what you have to do and how to slow the game down, he's like, we wear the catapults. He's like, each day you're going to see your miles per hour go down. And he's like, it's about putting yourself in the best position possible, not straining, overstraining your body to do things and using your speed to compensate for, how I kind of blew this coverage or I messed up here. But yeah, having him my corner man has been huge. He's kind of taught me how he groups his things together, playbook wise. And so I've kind of taken that on over the last few weeks. And it's helped a ton, man. Like you say, it's a complex defense we run that I know we're not even halfway through it yet. But It's extremely complex. But everything he's told me so far, man, it's been very helpful.
Yeah, and Tyreek, you were all-conference recognition with both App State and Richmond. You got recognized at both of those for all-conference. You had 11 interceptions in 55 career games, 35 starts. You seem to have a knack for the football. Now you find yourself here in the NFL, and what can you do to translate your college game to the pros, finding the knack for that ball? Are you going to keep your skill set in being a ball hunter, or what are your skill set looking like as you kind of wander your way here into training camp?
Yeah, I think that's the main thing is ball production. We get turnovers and win ball games. As long as you're +1, +2 in that turnover margin, I think you're pretty good to win. But yeah, man, it's mainly film study. Like I mentioned before, it's a neck up league, just trying to, pick up on things and tendencies that the opponents do. And I've learned so far as a copycat league, man, when I watch tape on other teams, everybody does the same thing. Right. But it's about, hey, can you recognize this before they get going? Because it's way faster, man. I tell some of my friends, I'm like, dude, they get up there in the huddle within 10, 15 seconds of ball snap. Right. And it's something that you have to process really fast, man. But, yeah, that's it. I think it's just film study and relying on some of those vets. So, how can I learn this, concept and recognizing these things like that?
You have some great vets to learn from with Jamel Dean, Antoine Winfield, even Zion making his way into year 3 of the NFL. As we're joined by Bucs rookie cornerback Tyreek Funderburk. And I heard your story earlier. I was watching some of your previous interviews, and when you made your way to Richmond I seen your face light up. You were like, yeah, 2 weeks before pro day, you got off for the to go to Richmond and whatnot. What was it like becoming a Buccaneer as a UDFA? I talked to UDFAs in years past, and a lot of them actually winded up being happy that they were a UDFA because they could choose their landing spot at that point in time, opposed to locking yourself in the 7th round. Was it a good feeling getting a call from the Bucs, and was that your only spot, or did you have other potential opportunities as well?
Yeah, I mean, I had other opportunities, but this one was the biggest one. I remember sitting in my living room rather, with my dad in there. Mom was outside the door. Coach Bowles called me. He was like, Tyreek, look, man, I need a corner. We'd love to have you, this and that. And it was awesome. Obviously, I've known players who've played under him before, and everyone said good things about him. And so it was kind of a no-brainer, man, to come here. Obviously, everybody's goal and dream is to get drafted. But also being a UDFA, man, it's a lot of pros to it, and I'm learning that, pretty quickly.
I get to pick the best spot that works for you, right? You look at what the Bucs had at cornerback after trading Carlton Davis. There's potentially an opening there. You're competing with some guys like a Keenan Isaac and obviously some of the other rookies that were brought in with you. But there's that opportunity for you to pick and choose your spot. Sometimes you get drafted to a team that's got like 7 cornerbacks already, and you're like, well, this is not going to be fun. But I think there are some benefits to that. I think it's actually more beneficial to be an undrafted free agent than to hear your name in the 7th round. Just my opinion, talking to some other guys too. But, you mentioned the guys that you have to learn from, but you've also got some guys that you get to go up against. Guys like Mike Evans, who made his return to OTAs today, but I know he was in there earlier on phase 2, phase 3. Chris Godwin, Trey Palmer, Rakim Jarrett, and also fellow rookie Jalen McMillan. What's it been like to go up against those guys, specifically the pros who have been there before? And kind of have you had some reps against Evans or Godwin? What's that been like?
I haven't gone against Evans yet. Obviously, he just came today. But I've gone against Chris, man. And he's one of those guys that he's been around for a while. He's savvy at what he does, got great hands and stuff. Just really with him, you got to rely on technique, and that's with everybody you go against. But yeah, it's been fun, man. I like to compete. That's the thing about me. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's Mike was a Hall of Famer or a rookie, J-Mac. I want to compete. I want to go against them. I want the one-on-one matchup, and that's what it's all about.
And we know there will be no shorter competition with Baker Mayfield out there as your quarterback. He's always fired up, ready to compete out there, as we are talking to Tyreek Funderburg for a couple more minutes here. The Bucs, tremendous UDFA rookie out of Appalachian State. And Tyreek, what are your expectations for camp, and what are your goals? If you could reach a couple of goals, or if you could set some goals, what would those be? And what are your expectations as you enter your first camp? Because I talked to some rookies before, they didn't really know what to expect heading in, but you're in good company with the Bucs.
Yeah. I think the main thing I expect from myself is just consistency. Whether that's in technique, eyes, knowing the playbook, aligning the right spot. That's the main thing. Especially that's what they look for in coaching. They want to see how consistent you can be, not giving up big plays, making plays on the ball. I think those are super important things. But I said that's the primary one, man, that I expect of myself, is just to be a consistent ball player throughout camp. Show I can do it, under fatigue. And even when I'm tired, I'm good. If I'm fresh, I'm good regardless.
Hey, real quick, I did want to ask you, this is a little off subject. I know you're a track and field guy. Are you looking forward to the Olympics, to the track and field?
Yeah, it'll be good.
Who's your favorite? Who are you really looking forward to seeing?
I say right now, sprints wise, the Lyles, the brother, he's moving.
And I was gonna say the same thing. Sha'Carri Richardson, I'm really looking forward. That's a good redemption story, based on what happened to her the last time, and she's back here again and she's killing it. So I just wanted to kind of get your thoughts. I know track and field stays in the back of your head regardless of where you move on to, and that's good that you're with Team USA.
That's funny. Kind of track and field leads me kind of to my next question, because making the roster is the goal, right? Even making the practice squad, that's the goal, to be on this team in some sort of fashion. Obviously, the roster is where you want to go, but even sticking around. But before that even comes into play, you have an opportunity with joint practices coming up with the Jaguars and the Dolphins. And speaking of track and field and speed, Tyreek Hill is a guy that you're going to get put up against. Are you excited for that? Something like that matchup? I know you love to compete, but have you thought about that? Like, holy crap, I'm going to get to cover Tyreek Hill come August.
Yeah, I mean, it's something I have thought about. I mean, besides the whole competing thing, it's cool, man. It's a really good experience to go against guys like him, Odell, the Jalen Waddles of the world. Like, those are good players. That's why they're getting paid the most right now. But yeah, I'm excited to go against them. It's gonna be a fun week. The guys have already told me about how joint practices are. They get chippy, get rowdy. But it'll be fun, man. It'll be a learning experience. I'm just gonna have fun with it.
Especially with Baker at the helm. He talks trash. I'm sure he's talked trash to you in camp already. If not,
yeah, a little bit.
It's coming. My other thing I just want to ask you real quick. I know we got for a few more minutes, and I'm sure the guys want to get something else in. But who have you kind of like looked up to, modeled your game, watched film, maybe not kind of like, or like taken things to your game? Who are the guys that you've kind of watched growing up, and you said, all right, I like that. Take this, like this, take this, and kind of apply it to your game?
Yeah, I mean, I'll go two older ones. Sante Samuel. Him, ball hawk, loves to hit.
Yeah.
Keep to lead, another ball hawk.
Former Buc.
Yeah, as a recent.
Rock Jayhawk.
No doubt. And then another one, man, I'd say Darius Slay. Guys who all made players on the football. They got good technique. I feel like my game's, pretty similar to theirs in different ways. But I try to pick a little bit from each of their game, whether it's technique, press man, off man, playing with their hips open, whatever it may be. Just trying to pick things that are in their game that are pretty good and just try to apply it to what I do.
So is man your strength? I mean, would you rather go man or if you had your choice?
If I have a choice, I love zone, but man is something that you're gonna have to do. I did zone more at Richmond last year. App State, a lot of man. So, I'm able to do both. But I love zone coverage, man. Having the eyes on the quarterback, being able to bait him, throw on certain balls.
Yeah, in the halls there at App State, how talked about still is that game against Michigan where they won that football game, block field goal? Is that still notorious in the halls of Appalachian State? That kind of helped put their football program on the map a little bit.
Yeah, I mean that, and they've had a number of upsets. They've had close games with Penn State. A few years ago, they beat South Carolina, beat North Carolina. Had two back-to-back ones really close with Chapel Hill. What else? He upset Texas A&M before I got there. So it's been a lot of quote-unquote upsets. And even this year, beating JMU, who was undefeated at the time. I mean, so it's nothing new for App State. But, it's definitely still talked about out there, man. That's what everybody knows App State as, the ones who beat Michigan. So.
One last question for you, Tyreek, and I love that, the ones who beat Michigan. I got some choice words for Michigan, but no, I'm just kidding. I'll leave it be at that. But Tyreek, one last question for you, kind of a fun one from a friend of actually a podcast partner. He can't be here tonight. What's your favorite spot in Tampa so far, as we are here with rookie cornerback Tyreek Funderburg for another minute or so?
Yeah, favorite spot. I don't know. I went to Ava, the Italian spot in Soho. That's a solid spot.
Yeah, that's real good.
Good food, good Italian food. That might be it so far, man. We haven't gotten a huge chance to go out yet, to explore.
Hit me up. I got this. I got the spots.
Yeah,
you got to get a Cuban sandwich. Don't listen to no any other guys. You got to get your Cuban sandwich.
Okay. Y'all let me know the spots, man. Let me know everything.
Yeah, well, you could tell I eat pretty good, so I'll let you know the spots as well. I know you're trying to do your thing right now, and we're greeting you from Germany. But Tyreek, we appreciate your time spent on the pod here today, my man. We look forward to continue watching your journey and continue watching your path to make the roster. We're really excited to have you here in Tampa, and we were really, really excited to have you on the pod with JC, Gene, and myself. So really appreciate it, my man. It was awesome to spend some time with you. And now go do your thing and enjoy yourself, my friend. And we hope to talk to you soon. And I'm sure your season's going to go just as great as you were on here, brother. We do appreciate you.
Yes, sir. I appreciate y'all having me.
You got new fans.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Tyreek. Say what up to the boys for me. I'll talk to you later, man.
Talk to y'all soon. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks again, Tyreek. Have a great night, my man.
Y'all too.
That's a great Tyreek Funderburg right there, rookie cornerback for your Tampa Bay Buccaneers out of Appalachian State. JC, he's a good one, and I think it's going to translate. I've watched some of his college film as well. He's a speedster. He's got some money making moves. By money making, I mean he's got some play making moves out there, JC. I think he could really be effective. And as we talked about, Todd Bowles with his UDFAs, he's not shy with them. Christian Izzy cracked the roster last year. I know offensively, but look at how he used Rakim Jarrett. Devin Tompkins, he just got waived, but he was a UDFA at one point. Kalen Geiger broke the roster as a UDFA. We had Leverett and Hagan, the Super Bowl year, as UDFAs on the roster. So this Bucs coaching staff really likes using their undrafted free agents, and I think Tyreek is one that could stick around and find his way on to at least the practice squad, if not the 53.
I love just listening to him, just how he's talking about mental things. He talked about the neck up, and he kept making reference to these kind of things, and just learning the playbook. And it's not about physical tools; it's more about the mental. And it just it's exciting to see that. Like I said, I'm a fan. I'm looking forward to seeing him play. And I'm sure, JC, you get the opportunity to be around him a lot more, so you get that firsthand experience with that.
Yeah, I think, he's got a good chance to kind of crack that 53-man roster. I definitely think he's a candidate for the practice squad, for sure. You kind of look at the room. You've got Jamel Dean and Zion McCollum are kind of the locks. Bryce Hall there too. Tavier Thomas is going to be in a tough battle, but I think, the goal was getting veteran depth in. So I think he's kind of locked in on that roster too. So he's going to be going up against Josh Hayes, I think, really for that final spot. Josh Hayes led all NFL players in special teams tackles. So
he got an All-Pro vote last year didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He got one All-Pro vote. So, it's going to be a tough battle for him against him and Josh Hayes. I think he beats out a guy like Keenan Isaac, who showed some promise last year. He had a stint on the active roster, but they like what they see out of this kid. He's got the size that the Bucs like. He's got speed. He's got his head on straight. He's another one of these guys, when you look at what the Bucs have done over the course of the last couple seasons, with their, free agents, undrafted free agents, with their draft picks. These are guys who are football guys, high character, check up from the neck up, as Bruce Arians used to like to say. And these are guys who love the game, and they're going to give it their all in every play. So I think he has a good chance of potentially unseating a guy like Josh Hayes. Again, I give the benefit of the doubt to the second-year player. But again, I think he finds himself in the practice squad. And given the everyone want to talk about the curse of the kicker, right? I think the curse of the cornerback room the last couple of years has been something to keep an eye on too, right?
Exactly.
He could find himself, elevated for a game or two this season, or we'll see what happens. But I definitely like what he brings to the table. He's stuck out to me in rookie minicamp and some of the stuff I've seen in OTAs. So definitely keep an eye on him for sure as we approach training camp. Yeah,
JC, yeah. I know you don't have the whole episode as well, so I want to throw some questions your way quick. Pops had one for you, though. Do you think he's a returner type at all by chance, or is that out of his question?
No, I don't think so. I think he's more just an outside guy, maybe a gunner, special teams, kind of punt kickoff, punt return type, outside type of guy. I would say normally a kick returner. I'm not sure, though, how that's going to affect, but definitely a guy who's going to play, special teams. And that's going to be his key onto this team. But as a returner, no, even with the news, and, we'll get to that with Devin Tompkins being, waived injured, which is something that likely what happens when you do that is when you waive an injured, they revert to injured reserve. But because they waived him, instead of just putting him on injury reserve, it's likely that they'll come to some sort of injury buyout, settlement buyout. And I think, Devin Tompkins is no longer going to be a Buccaneer, which is kind of interesting and a little shocking at this point. But as far as Funderburk, he's going to be a core special teamer, just not on returns.
Yeah, and that
we have 17 games. There's a possibility that what we've seen, what has happened with the secondary over the past couple of years with injuries and stuff. It's a possibility that we could, if he makes his team, that we would potentially see him on the field.
Yeah.
Yeah, and JC, obviously we talked a little bit about it, but SMB, Carlton Davis, Jamel Dean, I mean, all these guys missed multiple games with injuries over the past couple seasons. And it never hurts to have cornerback depth. That's for sure. Do you think? I don't know how to phrase, but let me put it like this: do you think the youth movement? Because over the past 2 years, we kind of seen us shift away from some of the veterans. Obviously, Levante's here to stay forever, and he's getting better with age. But we did cut ties with guys like Akeem Hicks and Devin White over the past couple of years, and kind of some veterans who may have quote unquote been slowing down a little bit. Do you think this rookie youth movement, because we've been drafting hella defensive rookies the past couple of years and signing him with UDFA, do you think speed was a top priority for Bowles the past couple of seasons? I mean, I think keeping a guy like Tyreek would cement something like that, but it just seems to me the guys are drafting both offense and defensively. We just want to get faster overall as a team.
Yeah, I think that's definitely part of it. I mean, you look at a guy like Bucky who doesn't blow away, but he gets up to his top speed pretty quickly. I mean, some of these guys, Yaya had the fastest speed for an edge rusher at the combine last year. You look at, Graham Barton, the fastest center / guard ever to come out. So speed has definitely been a factor. They want to get faster. They want to get quicker. I'd say quicker is more important than actually straight line speed for them. They drafted Trey Palmer, who does have that straight line speed. They drafted Zion McCollum a couple of years ago, who had the best RAS ever, with his straight line speed and everything like that. So definitely faster, younger, quicker. And part of that was because during the Brady years, they were signing up veterans, like guys, again, look at Antonio Brown, Julio Jones, Richard Sherman, LaShawn McCoy. A lot of people forgot. Le'Veon Bell. I mean, those were Buccaneers. Yeah, a lot of people forget that. Le'Veon Bell, LaShawn McCoy were Buccaneers. LaShawn McCoy got a ring with the Buccaneers. And they were kind of bringing these older guys in to supplement the roster. And they had one of the oldest rosters in the league. And, they're paying the credit card bill down. And they had to, kind of get themselves right with the cap. And they still got about a year or two to go till they're really, really in the clear. But part of that youth movement was, all right, we know we got to re-sign Mike. We know we got to re-sign Levante, potentially Chris. We got to bring back Tristan, Antoine. Baker worked out, so they had to re-sign him. So getting these guys and credit to the scouts, and Jason will say firsthand, that's the scouts. It's not me. They found these guys who can come in on these rookie salaries, whether they're undrafted or drafted slotted salaries, and make an impact on this team. And I think when you look at it, we can kind of go back and name the guys, Robert Hainsey, Joe Tryon-Shrinka is going to start off as a starter this year. You look at Luke Gedeke, K-Dot, and
Cody Malk,
Rashad White, Zion McCollum, Trey Palmer, who probably starts off as year 3.
Payne Durham is tight end too.
Right. So you're getting about 15 to 16 guys, throughout these drafts as starters or core contributors to your team. And I think, they're all young, they're all fast, they're all, love football, and it's a passion of theirs, and they apply themselves, and there's no drama and attitude, and they don't cost a lot. So, I think you look at the trend that way, and credit to Jason and his staff. They've been finding these guys.
And the football IQ is a lot higher. These guys aren't just physical. They're like KJ Britt is a really good example of somebody
who's guy.
Yeah. Check up from the neck up, as you mentioned. These guys, and even, listening to Tyreek, they want to learn the game. They want to understand the game. And it helps them to slow down the speed of the game when you understand what your assignment is. And that's a big part of it. That's why when KJ Britt was able to come in and play the way he did last year, I mean, we saw Devin White. They benched Devin White, and he came in and he looked great. I mean, he did his job. He understood, what his assignment was, and he did just that. And we're seeing that from a lot of these players that JCA is mentioning. And again, they've done a great job. The front office and the staff has done a great job.
Yeah, I think I had KJ Britt on my podcast last week. And he pretty much said, he's not the fastest guy. He's not the fastest guy, but the guys he watches, the Ray Lewises and the Singletaries and these guys who are, just are instinctive. They know the playbook inside and out. They again, check up from the neck up. They've got it all going on upstairs that when they see something, they've watched the film. That's all he does is watch film. He is a film junkie. I try to ask him, well, what do you do for fun? He's like, well, in season I go rabbit hunting but I like to watch a lot of film. It's like, okay. And that puts him in a position where he's not going to go sideline to sideline. He's not Devin White, but the thing that works in him is he sees something, he recognizes it. So he's already creeping over one way or the other way because he's recognizing what he saw in film, and that's how he's been able to make plays. Now, there's been talk, will he be the starter? Will he be a 3-down linebacker? And kind of Bowles addressed that and said, hey, look, we've got a lot of 3rd-down packages, as long as he can give us quality 1st and 2nd down, which he's more of that traditional Mike 1st, 2nd down thumper guy who's going to be a force in the run game. He can make some plays, but we also seen him make some plays in coverage in the passing game last year too. So I think he's going to be a guy that you watch out for. And Zion McCollum, I talked to him, kind of just said it, right? The game, and I mentioned it with talking to Tyreek. He's at a point where he understands the defense and understands what teams are trying to do to him, so that everything has slowed down for him to the point where he's only using his speed to break on balls. He's only using his speed in recovery. He's not relying on his speed and saying, okay, I got my speed, I'm good. That's the last thing that's coming to his mind. He's thinking more, he's reacting more, he's reading more, and he's able to make more plays. I think when you look at last season, the discourse was on Luke Gedeke. Oh, the Bucs need to right tackle. The Bucs need to right tackle. Oh my goodness. Luke Gedeke, oh, the Bucs need to right tackle. Well, I think the discourse this season is, man, the depth at corner, Zion McCollum, how's he going to do at corner? Oh, inside linebacker. We didn't draft him to replace Devin White. How's KJ Britt? He's not fast. He's with this. These are the 2 guys that I'm pegging right now who are going to be the most surprising players on the defensive side of the ball, who we're going to come back and be like, what the hell were we worried about? And I really think that's going to be the case with both of those guys.
Do you agree? It seems like this happens every offseason. There's always, the offensive line, we got to worry about the offensive line. We got to worry about the secondary, instead of kind of sitting back and let these guys cook, let them do what they do, and let's see what product they put on the field. And I asked this question last week, and I have to ask you this, JC. How do you feel? Does this team feel different, or this season feel different? You've got your quarterback, you got your wide receiver, you've re-signed the majority of your players. You're not having to worry about, do we have the cap space to sign our rookies? Everything's been kind of taking care of itself along the way. And here we are going into camp, everybody's healthy, and knock on wood, and everybody's healthy, and here we are. So does this season feel different than other seasons, or like, that fear of the unknown?
Absolutely. I think the fear of the unknown is just Bucs fans overreacting right now. I think when you look at the new system, we'll start with OC. You guys know I love Dave. Dave is my guy. I love Dave. Like, he's my dude. We've done stuff outside of football together. He's my guy. But he was a first-time play caller, and there was very limited what he was going on. Last year, the offensive line wasn't great, and that kind of limited what he wants to do. I think this year the offensive line is going to be much better. Graham Barton, they wanted to play center, but if he can't, Robert Haynes is going to be in a much better position too. He's bigger, and I think Liam, the way he's got this offense set up, is he's not going to put Hainsey in as many positions where he's going to be where it's going to be all on him, and he's going to have to take on the world, right? He had let up 6 sacks last season. I think he finished out in like the 20s as a center, so he wasn't great. It wasn't really good. But I think part of that too is because obviously you had Cody Malk, who was a rookie. There's a lot of change on the left side too, and those guys were smaller. Filer was bigger, but Filer couldn't really play for. He was obviously doesn't have a team now. Stinney got snapped up real quick, but I think when the way you look at this team, the way they built this offensive line, Sue Opita can play, Ben Bredeson can play.
Opita getting love right now.
What?
Oh, Peta's getting the love right now.
Right. And Graham Barton, again, if he wins at center, great. If not, they'll move him to guard and he'll be fine there at guard, and he'll have Hainsey. I still think that probably gives him the best starting five. Need to see more of Opeta when the pads come on and everything like that. But, I think they're going to be set there. They have depth. They've got guys who can play center, who can play guard. They've got plenty of depth there. I think they're in a much better position in the offensive line this year. And then Baker has the ability to do a bunch of different things too. He's got so many different cans, and he can check out of one running play into another running play. And if that's not there, he's going to have so much more freedom at the line of scrimmage. And there's going to be so much more motion. There's going to be orbit motions. There's going to be motion at the snap, motion prior to the snap. Just kind of try to confuse players and what they're doing on the defensive side and open things up for the offense. So I think, this year, I think they're in a really good spot. Now they have a difficult schedule. That's going to play into it. But I think on the defense, they've made some upgrades. On the offense, they made upgrades. The one thing I think that can really hinder this team is health. If Mike goes down, you're screwed. Chris, you might be able to get away with Trey and Jalen taking over some of that role. But if Mike goes down, you're screwed. If Cade goes down, you're screwed. If Tristan or Luke go down for an extended period of time, you're screwed. I think you're good. Even at quarterback, I think you're fine with Wolford and Trask. I think they can win you a few games. You lose Baker for 6. I think you can go 3-3. But if you lose any of those 3 guys on offense, I think you're paddling without an oar.
You're in a situation.
Right.
Emily Compa had asked, do you really think that Devin White will be missed? And I personally don't think so.
His jerseys are on sale for $22.
Yeah,
the only person less than that is the quarterback. I can't remember. Carson Wentz from Indy. Wentz. That was like 4 teams ago. They're on sale for 21. They're just trying to get rid of that inventory. No, they're no. And he showed up. He showed up the Eagles camp overweight too.
Yeah,
just having a laugh at that a couple guys the other day.
And ironically, he's going to have more pressure on him there than he did here. And
yeah.
Because Philly fans ain't nothing to play with. And
they're expecting a Super Bowl vibe from him over there. Well,
you know what? They've got Trotter waiting in the wings too. If he doesn't play well, they'll scream for Trotter to come in. That's a legacy pick,
Yep.
They got a lot of young linebackers hungry over there in Philly. So if Devin White ain't got it in him, well, my pops text in, I'm selling my Devin White jersey for 12 if any takers. So there we go. Pops has one on the market. Speaking of on the market, our guy JC Allen isn't on the market. He's a man of many obligations. He's got the Pirate Parlay podcast at Sick Media. He works for Sports Illustrated, SI Bucs Game Day, and he has their own podcast at Bucs Game Day. He's a man of many tales, many myths, and many legends. And I know you're busy, JC, so we're not going to hold you much longer. I just want to know, we're fans of wrestling here, so you can almost smell football season with The Rock. But I want to ask you, what's cooking, as I'm smelling it, but what's cooking in JC Allen's kitchen on your way out? And feel free to bring up anything from podding or whatever you want to do, my man.
Yeah, so podcasts are coming out, working on a deal to hopefully grab one of these guys on a weekly basis. Which will be a lot of fun. One of these young rookie guys, can't divulge any information. Working on it behind the scenes. Hopefully that comes.
You've had some great guests this offseason. Let me say that. You've helped keep Bucs Twitter alive, or Bucs social media alive, I should say.
I mean, I wish I'd get more followers, more subscribers. Go subscribe to Pirate Parlay Sick Podcast. I'm the only podcast that's bringing you players in season, off season, regularly. I don't know what you guys are doing out there.
Hey, and I'll start. I spread your JC Allen account. I'll start sharing the love with that account more.
Yeah, I mean, what are we doing? I mean, I don't even care about the Twitter followers, but subscribers on YouTube. Let's go, prick it up, guys. I mean, geez, I can only bring you. I don't
go to my burner
big time by these guys. You got under 600 subscribers on YouTube. I ain't coming on. But no, so that's always popping and rocking. We took a week off this week after having KJ Britt last week. I'm getting somebody else on for this week, so we'll keep doing that. Plus, I'll have, once we pick up training camp, we'll have weekly reports and all that stuff. So we'll be doing that. Bucs Game Day, we are rolling. We've gone through so much crap behind the scenes, from switching from the arena group to Athlon to now with Minute Media. So we're trying to get everything back up and running to where we were. We've been trying to just stay afloat there. But things are great. We've got a great team over there pumping out daily content. Like if Bucs game day isn't on your rotation right now, I don't know what you guys are doing, because we've got some of the best content, some of the best writers, whatever it is. Like my Twitter page, X page, you guys can find everything there. We are covering everything on all cylinders. So definitely check that out. Other than that, again, follow me on Twitter, X, whatever. Thanks, bud. Yeah, you were in there yesterday. That was a lot of fun. So more guests coming on here, The Cannons, which is our podcast over there. More guests coming on Sick Podcast. You guys know I'll pop in here when I can, so you guys can usually find me here. I'd say at least once or twice a month I'm popping in on Buccateers, making the show all about me. But
What else is new?
on a serious note, my niece is she's undergoing a bone marrow transplant in the next couple of days. So I've got a GoFundMe up. These are always hard to start for anyone, swallow your pride and ask for help. And I hate doing so and kind of, but it is on my X page, Twitter page. If you guys can help donate anything, there's a lot of risks involved with this. It's got about a 18% mortality rate. She's only 12. She's had to go in and out of the hospital her entire life for infusions and immunocompromised. So hopefully this will get her living a normal life. She's still tried her best. She's a multiple-time cheer competition winner down in Disney and all over the country. So she's been trying to do her best, but it really takes a toll on her to do something that she loves. And these insurance companies, they don't cover everything. I think kids should be fully covered, especially in life or death situations, but we don't live in a country like that. But the real excess cost, I wrote about it, is, we want to make sure that she's able to have children down the line if she chooses to. And that's a big part of this that's not covered under the insurance, is being able to, have surgery to preserve her ovaries and stuff like that. Weird to talk about, but hey, I care about her. I love her. She's my niece. So all the information for the GoFundMe is on my Twitter page. If you're following me on Facebook for whatever reason, it's over there too. Anything you guys can do, really, really appreciate that. If you can't, just prayers are amazing. That everything covers. She's going to be in the hospital for 3 months and isolated, around the clock, testing around the clock every day. Then she goes to a hospice for 6 to 8 months before hopefully she's allowed to go home. And then even then, she's still in isolation for another 3 months at home, but a little more comfortable. It's about a year long. She's going to go through chemo, lose her hair. So she's also got a wish list I'm going to share too. So if you guys can't do any donations and you want to send her something, that'd be awesome. But again, prayers work just as well, and I appreciate those. So
yeah, definitely shoot me that wish list. That's really important as well.
And we're gonna make sure on the pod we continue to share the GoFundMe and the wish list as well. And sometimes you podcast or you get caught up in real life and you just forget how fragile life is. And I can't pray any more than I am for you and your family, and her specifically, JC. And I just hate that. Real life is I'm not going to hold back here. Real life is a son of a bitch. And, I hate this type of stuff. I hate talking about this type of stuff, but anything we could do here for you and her, just let us know and we'll do that. Like I said, I'll post a GoFundMe. Gene asked for the wish list. We'll make sure we keep getting the word out there, brother, and prayers your way as well.
Appreciate y'all. Definitely appreciate y'all. Bucs, one thing I've come to know as an outsider is that Bucs Nation is a family. And I appreciate everybody that's shown me support through my journey, but also is the outpouring of support for my niece too during her journey. So appreciate y'all.
All right, man.
Yeah, JC, we love you. We love her as well. And you guys are in our thoughts and prayers, my friend. And I know you're a busy guy, so we'll let you step away here on this. What is? I'm losing track of the day.
It's Thursday. There's no wrestling today, so it's Thursday.
TNA
TNA.
You got TNA, and they're starting to get hot and heavy with the WWE as well.
Yeah, Jordana Grace is coming over. I actually put in some tickets for whatchamacalled, NXT next week. So hopefully me and Karen will be popping out to Orlando for NXT because she's got a match next week. So check that out.
Good.
That'd be a lot of fun. Joey and I just got our SmackDown June tickets today. So popular wrestling time. But JC, don't go through any tables, ladders, or chairs. We need your health.
Unless you want to.
No,
No,
promise.
no. Even if you want to. No.
Table, ladders, chairs, and stairs, maybe.
We need you for the Bucs title match when the bear draft comes to a conclusion. We need you on to win the title. But JC, always a
Hey, do you have a beer you want to contribute?
A beer I want to contribute. Like I need to have it in my presence, or just
we just need to add it to our bracket.
You know, I think it's a local beer. There's two local. There's one up north, but again, my audience isn't up north, so I'll come down here. That's my Boy Blue. Is a one that I really enjoy. It's a blueberry beer made by Florida Ave down here in Florida.
Okay.
That is a really good beer. It's blueberry flavored. You put some fresh blueberries in there while you drink it. That's a good one. Shipyard Pumpkinhead is my go-to in the fall. You get that cinnamon sugar caramel rim. Yeah, I'll drink a few of those down there. So I'd throw one of those on there, whatever your flavor is.
Love that, my man. We'll put both of those on there, and I'll make sure to drink them, not like the Amazon Prime drinks with the Paul brothers, but I'll drink those beers, my man. JC, you have a great Thursday. You were incredible tonight, as always, my friend. Yeah. Thanks again for all of this. We really do appreciate it.
Absolutely. I'll try to get a couple other guys. I'm going to work on Judge Culpepper, getting him on here too. So
yeah, that'll be dope.
A nice legacy, but no promises, guys. You know, they're players, so you know what happens. We were lucky to get Tyreek in here. You know, he was like, yeah, I'll come on, and then last minute dinner, we only got him for 20 minutes, or he would have been on here for like 30, 40 minutes. But we'll do what we can. I'll do what I can to help you guys out. Because you're fam, like I said, so I got you.
Time's precious, you know. Anthony Gator's always on, but sometimes got to leave early. We know the feeling, my man. But still, whether it's 5 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour, it's always a bunch of fun. Speaking of an hour, before I got to put him on the payroll, JC, I'll text you about that. But we'll let him out of here now, as we're about to hit the AEW main event time limit on this match.
I got 2 words for you.
Subscribe. I couldn't think of the second, but that's JCL and the great JCL and from Sports Illustrated. Gene, always just fun, whether it's Tyreek, whether it's JC, both great guys, one writing for Sports Illustrated, one playing for our beloved Buccaneers, and then me and you podcast dudes. It's just fun, man. That was a real fun table of 4.
Exactly, man. And that's what I say. I continue to say this. There is so many great Buccaneers podcasts out there, and it's great that we can all get together. The listeners, I mean, you got Lowe out here, Bud Cannibalist, Jeremy, J-Lo. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm sitting here, don't even recognize his name. Emily, who's a listener, she's listening from wherever the heck she is, and it's just great that, we can all, come together and, kind of support each other. And, the majority of these podcasts out here are really great and, fun to, kind of interact with. So it's great that we do have that. And it just makes me so excited that we're getting closer to football. Here we are we're almost to June. Pretty soon June will be gone. It'll be July. Then July will be gone. It'll be August. And then we can get the real party started, man. So I guess we need to be working out the kinks right now, man. What segments we're going to do and that kind of thing. Because this is our preseason right now. This is our, OTAs that we're trying to figure out, hey, what are we going to do,
Yeah, and we'll see what we're going to do. You never know what we might do. And we have something we do know we're doing, though, the bear draft. You guys could have heard us talking about it with JCL, and he recommended a couple. I don't know if we'll be able to find those beauties, but we'll see what we could do. But nonetheless, we got about 10 to 12 bears or so now on our bear list. And if you guys want to enter that, it's real easy. All you got to do is say a beer on Twitter, on YouTube, email. You could call in Buc What You Heard when they're live or when we're live, and you could enter in the bear draft. And then Gene and myself will, around the time of preseason kickoff, we'll start getting into the groove.
It was so funny because somebody asked me, are you with the Buccaneers? I'm like, no, we're like kind of interchangeable, And so it's just kind of how it's worked out, and it's been great, man. You get to come on, I get to come on, and we're, simulcasting at the same time, and all the listeners get to appreciate this, man. You've asked some really nice questions out there today and, well thought out. J-Lo, yes, I will definitely be there for a game, and we're going to have some fun, man. Definitely.
Yeah, and that's what, people, it's like, people have such a problem realizing that if you do things together, especially with people you like, but nonetheless, if you do things together, the world just becomes an easier, more fun, better place. And that's what Buc What You Heard and Buccateers decided to do. We're collabing and we're moving right on in the off season, whether it's Gene leading the show, whether it's me leading the show, whoever the hell's on the show. We just have good talks. We have good fun. You never know what might come up. I mean, I've heard convos on our program from wrestling to cruise talk to a lot of food talk, you know, to vacations.
Yeah,
and
you can't go wrong with the food talk. We really got to bump that up a little bit too, man. Because
should we do a food and beer draft, or just stick with beer for now?
We could do food too, man. I mean, I'm all for it because I already got a list. I mean, so what
you
else?
You got a cookbook, probably.
You know what? That might be a good idea because like smoked nachos, man, are to die for. If you've never had smoked nachos, man, it's like the best thing you've ever had. Trust me. So
and what do those entail, if you don't mind?
So it's not like you're firing up your grill. It's more wood. So you're putting your cheese and your not ricotta. What is help me out here? The tomatoes and that.
Oh, pico.
Yeah, your pico and rotel. That's what it is. Rotel. Yeah. Yep. So you throw in a rotel in there and some peppers and ground beef, and you put it on the smoker and just smoke it. Let it get a good smoke on it. Melt the cheese. Stir it up. And you're all set with your nachos, man. Get your chips out there. It's fire.
And we're joined as well on Facebook tonight by Christian Metz, Angela, the Godfather, James Rubright. Just an incredible crowd, as Gene mentioned.
Is this on the Facebook side?
Yep, on the Facebook side.
Shout out to the Facebook side.
Yeah, we do have a dark side. It's called Facebook. I'm just kidding. But, you know, everyone great. Christopher Cole, MK, Olivia, Tobias from Germany. And Gene mentioned all the other great people as well. That's what we love to do here. And Gene and myself, we could talk with anyone. If you really know us, we could talk.
I'm taking Modelo off the list. Just because Emily said Modelo. I think we should take it off the list.
We'll make it Negro Modelo, the Negro Modelo, you know, isn't that because there's Modelo and then there's
there's a special, there's and then the dark beer too. I can't think of the name of it.
Yeah, and you know, Emily, whatever one you're not gonna recommend, I guess that's what we're stuck with. His butt is boycott, and he says not fair. Hey, Gene made that call, not me. So, you know, hey, Port Richey, Lou. This is Port Richey. Wow.
Hey. So, Lou, what are we talking about here, man? What kind of beer? You gotta give us a beer here, man. You gotta contribute.
Yeah, so it's called Modelo Negra. That one.
Okay, it is. It is the Negra. Okay.
See, I got it wrong. I said Negra Modelo, but it's the other way around. So I'm not a Modelo expert, but I do enjoy myself some Modelo. It is a good beer. I will say it's refreshing. I never tried that kind though. I've only tried the regular Modelo and the light. I think they got a light.
Yeah, they do have a light.
But either way, you know, I guess it's off the. It's like Jericho. You made the list. You're off the list. So we'll get that thing out of here. And Port Richey Lou, I don't know if you remember, Gene, but I think your first time on the Buccateers, it was you and Port Richey Lou during our Super Bowl run. We had you on at the beginning of the playoffs. It was you, Port Richey Lou, myself, and a couple of other characters. But yeah, I remember you guys were both on the Buccateers at the same time, and your first appearance, I believe.
I want to do Goon Squad, but can't get it everywhere. That's just because we have listeners all over the world, pretty much. You know, Germany, UK, whatever it is.
Yeah, unless we import it from Tampa. You know,
you know what? We might have to do that.
Have J-Lo send us a package if J-Lo's listening, or, you know, we could talk to Pat and Aaron and see if Aaron Jacobson owes me a favor because I recommended, he had a birthday parlay going the other week for his birthday. And I texted in, hey, throw the Chicago Sky in there. They were plus 15.5 that day. And right before Pat and Aaron got off the air, Aaron was like, I'm not losing my parlay on women's basketball. Guess who ended up not only covering, but winning straight up that day? The Chicago Sky. So, you know, I think he could owe me. I think he could owe me some Goon Squad.
Yeah, and I've had it, and I actually do like it. The last time I was in Tampa for Gasparilla, I had it, and that was a lot of fun too. I will definitely be. I'm not sure which parade I'm going to be.
The
I'll be
boat
doing
parade.
one more parade. I'll be doing one more parade this year, so it may be 4th of July, or it may be on down the way. So
Or it
I haven't
might
decided yet.
it might be February when we're hosting the Lombardi, and
Yeah, you just don't know.
we,
And that's definitely a possibility, man. And you heard it right here.
Yeah.
Is that your hot take for the day?
my Tone's hot take of the day is we'll be hosting a Lombardi during a boat parade. As Emily says, hey Gene, just a reminder, Florida State is a great art school opening up soon.
All these views, man.
And we even
This
got
is crazy.
all right, little political spectrum
Yeah,
here from
right.
Chad Wathen, God bless DJT. Anyways, Mr. Gene, anything you want to cook or anything you want to get to? As
Man, you know what?
Emily keeps calling you out.
I know she's and that's why she's one of my favorite listeners, because she just doesn't care, and she just says it how it is. No, I'm going to do some wings this weekend. I'm wanting to try. There's a couple of. I got this cherry glaze that I want to try. Cherry habanero glaze, and I want to try it on these wings and see how it tastes. So
cherry glaze, huh?
Cherry habanero.
You're making my stomach bubble, my man. I don't know how I'm still on the pod and not just in the back right now, just grabbing some stuff. That's. I think from Gene's conversations, I'm just daydreaming about food. And if you guys,
man, it just happens, and what's crazy, like I always get on TikTok and there's always a barbecue recipe that I'm like, man, I gotta check that out.
And Port Richie said he needs some Lou Malnati's deep dish. Gene, I don't know if you've ever had that Lou Malnati's, but man, this pizza,
it's a Chicago thing, isn't it?
Yeah, if you can describe it as such, it's like a Mila Kunis mixed with it's just a beautiful pizza. It just melts in your mouth. It's like a Sasha Banks mixed with Mila Kunis mixed with
I could go for that. You know what? Air fryers are incredible, man. I'm not even gonna front. I got my first air fryer, and for some reason I never pulled it away from the wall, and it kind of melted the back of it. Messed it all up, but got a new one. I'm in business, and man, I'm not gonna do it out of I'm just not gonna do it out of air fryer.
Yeah. So one thing before we get to our final words and head off, unless you have anything else to add, Gene, but I did want to ask you, since we're on the convo, what's the best air fryer you can get out? Like, what would be what say you for someone who doesn't own an air fryer and they keep hearing all the air fryer hubbub? What would you roll with?
It's constant air.
You know what my version of air fryer was while you look into that? The pizzazz. Remember the pizzazz, the thing that would spin around and it would cook a frozen pizza or make some chicken nuggets or anything like that. When I was in college, I loved the pizzazz. You would buy as J-Lo says, Ninja. I'm guessing that's one of them.
Yeah, Ninja's one of them, but there's one. This one actually crisps everything up, and that's I would swear by this. Consori, that's it.
Yeah, and you recommend that one.
Consori, it's like if you think of Kanye's wife, Consori, it's the same thing.
So we'll have to have not only a beer draft, not only a food draft, but an air fryer draft. It looks like between Ninja and your brand.
I had the Ninja, the one that has the two pans, but for some reason this one here, it does a whole lot better. Trust me.
Yeah, I mean, if anyone has any food or equipment needs, just go to Mr. Buc What You Heard, the great Gene. As Edward Rabasa is joining on Facebook as well. Better late than never. Great crowd tonight. We do very much so appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Gene, I just want to know, and some people say, real quick before we get to our final word, unless you have anything to add, I collect game used items. We talked about it yesterday about some items. today I'm browsing on eBay and I see a ridiculously priced Bradley Pinion jersey for $5,000. And
Wow.
I wouldn't, I that thing just sold for $450. So I go out of my way to the seller and I said, hey, this is too high. And I kind of called him out. And he says it's part of his strategy to get his other items to sell for less. I think it's personally ruining the market and whatnot.
Yeah.
But what say you? Do you have $5,000 to spend on a Bradley Pinion London jersey? And oh, by the way, we lost that game against Carolina in 2019.
No, not at all. Anything related to London, no. No. Forget it.
Yeah, and Chad says Bucs taking the Super Bowl this season if we get that run game going. I mean, that was the one thing last year. Rachaad White showed spurts, and it wasn't at fault of his own. But the run game always seemed to step behind last year, and it hindered. Oh boy, I think we got another Gene comment incoming. Oh my God! Come on! Oh my Lord! I didn't know we were turning it to rated
Hey,
R.
we're at war right now, so.
Yeah, what is the old saying goes? When at war, anything goes, right?
Anything goes.
I just hope, man. I hope.
So let's get back to what you were saying. I'm sorry. Forgive her.
No, she was good, but I got distracted. But the run game,
Dude, you know what? I honestly wonder, and I'm going to ask your opinion on this. Do you think it was situational where there were times where they shouldn't have run that they did? And I think JCA said it best. You had a first-time play caller in here. I really don't think he fully grasped the NFL for what it is, coming from where he was to where he is right now. And just there were some opportunities. I really believe, and it still frustrates me, that our running back didn't get over 1,000 yards. He should have gone well over 1,000 yards. And again, I think I expect him to Rachaad White to go over 1,000 yards this season. That's one of my hot takes as well. But I believe, with the addition of some of your players that were hurt that are healthy now, and what is the
Bucky Irvin.
And I feel like, and just like Bud said, Canales didn't know true balance, and there were just opportunities that they could have run the ball that they didn't, and they, in a sense, during that losing streak, became predictable.
And Gene, I have I think you made some great points, and I have two reasons on why I think the run game might have been a little bit stagnant last year. And we've seen, our good friend Dolphin was on the Buc What Ya Heard podcast with the both of us. If you missed it about a month or so ago, you could find it on Buc What Ya Heard. You could find it on Buccateers. But either way, she was on, and we were kind of talking about the state of the Dolphins and how they keep adding running backs, whether it's through the draft or whether it's through free agency. And she's like, yeah, this is why a running game is so fresh, so crisp. We have the bodies. And Gene, last year, I felt like the Bucs just didn't have the proper bodies, nor obviously the play calling's half of it. I think Bud's 100% right. I think you hit the nail on the head. I think JC mentioned it as well with Dave Canales. But last year, when you looked at the Bucs running back room, Gene, we had Rachaad White, but it was a beginner's Rachaad White, right? He was in year number 2, but really his first year of taking
it was really year 1 because he was playing behind Leonard Fournette.
Exactly. So that feeds into the point even greater. And then, yeah, sure, we had Chase Edmonds, but he was out to begin the year last year. He was injured, so he missed a lot of the season. Sean Tucker, as a UDFA, he had some conditioning problems, which set him behind. He was never fully caught up to steam. And then Keyshawn Vaughn, sadly, was just always never a great runner. But, Gene, look at what we did this year. We turned that into Rachaad White, year number 3 now, while year number 2 of being that advanced running back. Right. Chase Edmonds is fully recovered from his injury at this point in time, so he's going to be a lot healthier. We draft Bucky Irvin. We retain Sean Tucker. Then we go out and get Ramon Jefferson, UDFA running back from Kentucky, who's very familiar with Liam Cohen's system as well. So I feel like between getting Liam Cohen under the helm and getting this running back room I think in the offensive line, fixing some of the offensive line and the cohesion that the offensive line had
on the back end of the season, I think that's going to play a big factor going into this season because a lot of these guys are familiar with each other. And I think, players like, Hainsey and Tristan Wirfs, where you can plug other players in to get them up to speed with this line. I think that they're in a lot better position offensive line wise than they were last year.
Yeah, and I definitely agree with that. Cody Mock's going to be more improved. Tristan Wirfs only keeps getting better. He's like fine wine, gets better with age. Gadecki's going to be more experienced in the right tackle role. And then Graham Barton, the big man. Then we drafted Klein and we signed Opeta. And as JC talked about, he's getting recognition right now. We got Bresden from the Giants as well. Still got Hainsey floating around. Still got Brandon Walton floating around too. So we got a lot of good familiarity in the trenches, especially offensively. On the offensive side of things, J-Lo says Otten got to beef up and better his blocking. I feel like year 3, tight ends kind of take a while to progress in the NFL. Right. I feel like that's one position that takes the longest to try and get your feet wet because you got to worry about receiving and blocking. Other positions, you got to do both as well, but it's kind of like a third down running back where you got to have your head on a swivel at all times, and you never know when your number is going to get called. Cade Otten, I think in year 3, I think he's going to show tremendous growth in not only
I'm glad you said year 3 because and you can talk to any general manager in the NFL. We live in a microwave world where everybody wants it yesterday, and I found that players when they get drafted, you really don't get a full idea of what you have until year 4, year 3, year 4. Anything that happens before that is an added bonus. But you really have to give that player up to year 3, year 4, and then you know what you have. And then you decide if that's going to work for you. And it could be a system thing. It could be just them mentally not picking it up. And there's a lot of different things that factor into that. But at the end of the day, if you can get those guys in there and get them in a system where it works for them, I really believe that Otten, I think O'Keefe will have a better season this year too. My expectations aren't super high, but I do expect improvement from him as well if he makes the team.
And Gene, I think you make a great point. We're so quick to give up on players and coaches, not only in football, but around sports these days. You see coaches winning NBA titles, getting fired the next season for not going back to back because a player cries about him, or you see rookie quarterbacks. Kenny Pickett 2 years in gets traded. Justin Fields 3 years in gets given up on.
Trey Lance doesn't even get a chance.
And I think it's, part of the problem is social media being right in front of our face. We're used to news ever so changing, getting information at such a high premium, recency bias type behavior because we're used to new information by the minute. I think, the old days we were more patient because, we read the old newspaper clippings and they'd come out weekly.
And you didn't have access to coaches and players like you did back then. It was like there was this line, this veil that you couldn't look behind. And so you kind of had to take what a reporter had to say at face value. And you really weren't sure, what was going on. You just you could talk about it among friends, but now people understand, hey, this is what the playbook is. This is what they're running. This is getting ready to happen. And you hear all these rumors and, things that aren't supposed to get out to the news are slowly but surely getting out. Like you talked about social media. So,
Kyler Murray playing Call of Duty. Who the hell cares? I know it's funny or whatever, but it's like, who cares?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm talking about. Just those kinds of things. I think that it's good to see what I'm really interested to see what he does this year. Just because of all the things that have been said about him. How does he bounce back from that? But you have to be a little bit more mentally tough or just stay off social media as a sports personality in this day and age.
I think that the couple in Arizona got screwed the hardest. Steve Wilkes when he was a head coach and Josh Rosen when he was a rookie QB. They got like a full season together. Then both got oh boy. Yeah, Emily is being funny right now. We love you, Emily. You're always a great join to the pod. Speaking of great join, Gene, we're going to keep joining this off season. And anything else you kind of want to chat about or discuss before we get to our final words?
Yeah, I want to thank everybody that took the time to listen in. Everybody on Facebook, everybody on Twitter, everybody, just on YouTube. Thank you so much for taking us out. Greatly appreciated. I enjoy this. I think this is what makes it fun. When you have people in the chat, J-Lo, you've got my man Lou, Chad, just on down the list, Emily, and just everybody that's, Bud Cannibalist and everybody else that gets to come in and check us out. And I really appreciate that.
We're going to call him Lou Malnati's Lou now. And Chad,
Yeah.
I'm going to, Todd, I could give you something. He could manage time better. But
Yeah.
I was proud of him as a coach last year. I'm not going to lie. He did a hell of a job with his hands tied. Brady's retirement didn't help the roster, but that's a whole new episode.
Yeah.
We can open a can of worms on. My final word is thank you so much to one of my new favorite Bucs, Tyreek Funderburg, for joining the show.
Absolutely.
Making the program great. Thank you guys for listening to Tyreek Funderburg on the pod. Thank you guys to listening to the great JC Allen from Sports Illustrated on the pod. And most importantly, thank you guys for listening to Gene and myself multiple times a week. We really couldn't do it without the questions, the comments, the tweets from you guys, all of the fun stuff. And we're only getting started here on Buc What You Heard and Buccateers. We're at the tip of the iceberg. The best is yet to come. We're going to do some incredible things the rest of the offseason and when the regular season is upon us. We're going to do so much good things. You guys will be like, could you guys please stop doing all these good things? But Gene, I'm very excited, my friend. Only the tip of the iceberg. And honestly, every time you and I get behind a mic together, it just makes me happy because you're so joyful and knowledgeable. I just love it, brother.
All right. Legend, what's going on? Thank you so much.
Yeah, legend. That's a legendary picture. Speaking of legend, a lot of wrestling legends to get to on Impact tonight, or TNA, or Global Force.
It is almost time, isn't it?
Yeah, whatever you still call it, because we know people have traditions. TNA, Impact, Global Force. Go enjoy that as a wrestling fan. If not, catch the replay of the last show we had. It was Gene and J-Lo together on the Buccateers along with Stunna. That took place Monday night. That's on Apple, Spotify, YouTube now as well. So go, yeah, Stunna being Stunna. We love that, man. So, Gene, it was great with Funderburg, the rookie cornerback. Just awesome dude. Tyreek is going to be a baller. JCL, and it was incredible. And for J-Lo and the rest of the Buccateers unable to make it, it was Gene from Buc What You Heard and the great Tampa Tones here, taking you guys on a thirsty Thursday into the night with the assists of the great JCL and Tyreek Funderburg. That's a new bloodline, I think, us four. But
there we go.
We'll see. But Gene, you have a great night, brother, and I'll talk to you tonight, my friend, one way or another.
All right, bro.
Yeah, it was awesome. Thanks again. The great Gene, and fire the damn cannons, Tampa Tones, and Gene Decker off. Just kidding. The great Buc What You Heard, the Gene Machine. We're out of the building. Until next time on the Buccateers and Buc What You Heard. Thank you guys for watching. Peace. Game on Sunday, man. I know you're nervous for the Rams, but you got to be a little enthusiastic after being there.
Bro, that game atmosphere was ridiculous. The energy, the electricity. That place was rocking. Anyone was there, and a lot of the Super Buc fans were there too. Bud.
Tampa Tones. We are joined by Lead Goon tonight, host of the Pat and Aaron Show of WDAE, Pat Donovan. And it sounds like Stunna is bumbling a little bit. Going to put him on mute for a second until that gets a little cleared. But we're joined by Pat
It looks like
Donovan.
Stunna's hanging out with Cheech and Chong in a car with the windows up or something over there.
It does look like we got a little...
No, my